and Tourism is Honorable Jawlimbe Martin Pia. Mr. Pia is the official spokesperson of this government. Honor Minister Pia, the government have a platform of one government, one communication, one message, one goal, and the only platform that will be used by government auxiliary is the Child Beyond Press Hall and the Media Press Conference. At this juncture, I'd like to invite the Chief Administrator, the official spokesperson of the government, Honorable Jawlimbe Martin Pia, who will explain government programs and policy, after which he will officially introduce to you our guest for today's press briefing, Minister Pia.
Good afternoon to all of you and welcome to our regular press briefing for this week, the first one. There will be another one on Thursday. So we want to clear a few issues before the Liberia Immigration Service boss can take a stand. I hope all of you are comfortable in here. For me, it's getting too cold for me. I need a place to be a little bit warm and I don't know whether you all feel so. If you don't, we can bring 2 more of the air conditioner if you want that. By the way, like I said the other day, we'll bring more, but it will be after we have refurnished the entire building. Like I announced, we are about to cease operations in here and do a major renovation of the entire building on the roof, the floor, to make the place to look like where people are supposed to come and get government information. And we're glad that we're on course with that in just a few months of the team's stewardship here at the ministry. The president led a delegation to Ghana over the weekend. I was fortunate to be a part of the delegation. And for those of you who may not be aware, in Ghana, there is what we call the Regional Maritime University, dedicated to training people in all of the maritime related sciences from the different countries in Africa. That university is co-owned by Liberia, Ghana, Gambia, Sierra Leone, and Cameroon. The running of the university is the responsibility of the countries I just named. So it's an institution that belongs to Liberia as well. And they chose the president to address the commencement convocation. Of interest is the fact that amongst all the graduates, there was a single Liberian, very young lady, I guess in her early 20s, maybe 21, 22, who earned a master's degree in environmental engineering. Very young lady. So the team, the entire Liberian delegation was very proud of the young lady. She was brought to where the president was residing. She met with the president. They had good discussion as to what her role will be when she returns home, since she has completed. And there is a commitment on the part of the government to ensure that we have more Liberians enrolled at the university, because we should be more focused on providing skills, providing education for our young people so that they are prepared for tomorrow's leadership. So in the coming years, in the coming semester, the government will make targeted efforts to ensure that we have more enrollments of Nigerians at the Regional Maritime University, which is located in Accra. While in Ghana, we've been doing repatriation, and the president was very eager to drive down to Liberia to see what was happening there. But based upon advice from the Ghanaian security, we couldn't go, but what we were able to do was to invite the leadership of the Liberians in Liberia to come and meet with the president. They had very fruitful discussion. They briefed the president about the current state of affairs in Ghana, some of the issues that they are currently faced with. And so the government, the president now got a clearer picture as to what the situation is with our citizens out there and the things we are supposed to do in their interest will be done. To note also is the fact that there are Liberians who are students beyond the Regional Maritime University who are students in Ghana. Those students were able to meet with the president. They were granted audience by the president. But even though he went purposely for the graduation, but the president was keen on just being engaged with his people from different places. So the students also met with the president. They briefed the president about their schooling in Ghana, some of the challenges they faced with. Key among them was the fact that the program did not include stipends. They were giving their tuition and accommodation. So they informed the president that they have some challenges. Of course, the president was able to reach out to them in some small ways, but we holistically look at the challenges they face with and see how we can address them as a government. We have a huge problem in our country. If you consider the data on unemployment is very huge. Not just in Liberia, but in developing countries, how to find jobs for people is a big problem. But it appears that even as we have this kind of challenge, some of our people are choosing a path that will even make the job situation in our country harder, more difficult. Because some of the investors or concessionaires that are here trying to provide jobs are in some ways being terribly harassed. And the government is concerned, very concerned about this new trend that is unfolding in the country. Yes, we understand that in workplaces there could be challenges. Even here at the Ministry of Information, everybody who work here may not be okay. Maybe they got some issues, they got some concerns. How do they address those concerns? We're going the money for the Ministry of Information, rather than being that it's already in such a state, you put it on fire. Or you get engaged with the leadership here at the ministry and see how you find solution to the problems. Keep on to Limba, to Margibi, just name it. People are comfortable to take the laws into their own hands. And so last Thursday, some employee of the Sarah Rubber Corporation who got some issues, according to them, took the law into their own hands, vandalized the facilities of the company, in some other ways, attempted to take away lives. There was a targeted attack on the production manager of the company. His home was moved on. The vehicle seated in the parking lot within the home was set ablaze. And that fire extended to the building and pointed down to the ground. He had to be smuggled out. The company's warehouses were looted, rice and other valuables taken away. And before the security forces could intervene to restore some calm, much damage has been done. Over 13 persons have been arrested and investigated, but some of the ringleaders are still alive. We're looking for them because the government is committed to ensuring that those who caused that extent of destruction account for their action. And those who are already arrested, they've been investigated, they will be charged accordingly, and they all will be prosecuted to the full extent of the law. We cannot tolerate such level of violence among our people. We can't be behaving like animals. We got a human being in our house. And you don't care. You're prepared to set the house ablaze. And it doesn't matter if anybody in there dies. This new set of activity that we see is un-Liberian. Liberians are calm people. We are not such a violent group of people as we seem, especially during normal times. The company has announced that it will shut down. So yesterday, the government sent a team to Sabotage, headed by the Minister of Justice and the Minister of Agriculture, because Sabotage is an agricultural company. The acting Inspector General of Police, because his men are deployed there as we speak. And I joined there as the Minister of Information. And we wanted to have a clear picture of what has happened. So we were able to review the damaged infrastructures. We moved to the camps. We got some 9 camps. We couldn't go to all. We visited 2 of the strategic ones. Talked to those who are living there. Got their own accounts of what happened. On our way back, we stopped at the police station in Katata and met those who are detained. We also met their union leaders, the chairperson or president and the secretary general. They gave us their own account of what took place because they are answering some questions having been invited by the police. But here is it. You see you've got some issues. You instigated a violent protest. The company said we shut it down. So our question to them was, 800 persons are employed here. What problem you wanted to solve? When the company closed down the operation, how does it benefit you? The 800 jobs gone. The schools being operated closed. The medical facility they're running closed. Of course, sooner or later they will ask you to leave those places that you live in, the homes you live in, because they are company property. You're there because you're working for them. So what have you done? Have you found any solution? Why are we looking for a job for our citizens? You're taking away 800 jobs in the name of looking for some redress or something. Importantly, they have sat with the management, and this account is given by their own union worker, who is also an employee of the company, and therefore they can't be lying. You start with the company, you have 13 counts. They chose to address 6 immediately, and that the other ones will be looked at. Meanwhile, prior to that, they have been on strike for 5 days. And they were making demands before going back to work to say, look, the 5 days we didn't work for, pay us for it. Company said, we can't pay you for days you didn't work for. It is only on account of the company now agreeing to pay them for the 5 days that they were on the rampage, burning down places, looting warehouses and all of that. How can we run a country like this? Talking about tourism. Gambia, a small country, no resources. Those who go there will tell you the story about Gambia. I'll let that place get most of what they need from Senegal. The major destination for tourism. And that country's budget is funded basically through tourism. But the tourists are going there because the place is peaceful. Tourists will not come here when you're burning down homes. When every little things are happening, we are all in the street destroying things. Tourists will not come here. So merely separating tourism and culture from Mika and creating an entity by itself will not lead to any boom in tourism. It starts with us, our behavior, our mindset, the things we do, the barbaric things that we do, how fearless we are in even taking away lives. Certainly not going to attract anybody who wants to do business here. If an investor, we went to Korea and we engaged a lot of companies. The Korean government is about to pump 14 billion into Korean companies to invest in Africa. We signed MOU with 7. Maybe when the 7 of them read the things that are happening here on the news, they will change their mind. Why would they bring their businesses here when all we know how to do is to destroy the very businesses even though they employ us? The government will not countenance any investor coming to our country and treating our people badly. So there must be some responsible and peaceful ways of engaging them when we have issues. Not these acts of violence and hooliganism that we see getting so popular amongst our people. And that is the reason why we use this particular case to set an example. We'll be very decisive. And those responsible for what happened in Savannah will account for their action. Everything in this country is politics. And the politics will take us back and back and back and back. 250 souls died in this country due to some crazy war. Maybe the reason why some people are still brave and they can be attacking people at companies and concession areas because maybe they believe nobody is held accountable for anything in this country. Many years after the end of the war, President Walker decided to take the step forward, acting in concert with the global community. So we're accountable. There are steps, many steps to go in finalizing this war crime stuff. And one of the things the president did when he issued Executive Order number 131 is to establish an office for the establishment of the War and Economic Crimes Code. That office is not the War Crime Code. So Consolidator Mazakwe is not heading a court. He is heading an office, or he should be heading an office when finalized, that will do all of the work required to establish the War Crime Code. And the people who will find themselves running the code will not include Jonathan Massacre, at least for now. But the normal agitation has started. The criticisms. And some people even want the president to share his power, his authority, to take this decision with them. Of course, they will not tell you that he's breached any law in taking the actions he took. But he's supposed to do it. He's going to consult with the party. He's going to consult with other people. He's going to consult them. Rather than being focused on the work they have to do to eventually establish the code, back to politics. Yes, we know some people have made predictions, sitting on some talk show in place and say, Our whole war grant code thing, Sharia is not going to happen, no matter what I think they're doing. So who knows? Maybe some of these people, they are so keen in having their prediction come to pass, then executing and implementing something that is good for the country. On behalf of the government, I want to assure them that there will be no turnaround. These processes that will be embarked upon will be followed to the letter, and eventually the War and Economic Crimes Court will be established, and people will have to account for the roles played during our brutal civil war. So let's focus on it, because the distractions will not work. They will not reverse the process, and the process will be logically concluded. We want to give some official recognition because at the Ministry of Information we believe it's important. Recently, the 23rd African Athletics Championship took place in Cameroon, and Liberia was present. We've informed that they won 5 medals, one of the guardians of Coach Seyon Kubo, and we just wanted to congratulate the medalists who represent our country well. I want to say the government is exceedingly proud of them. We want to thank them for lifting our flag in Cameroon, and they include Joseph Famule, who won gold in both the men's 100 and 200 meter events. Everett Morrison, who secured gold in the women's 100 meter stuff. Nia McCall earned a silver medal in the women's 100 meter. We just want to congratulate all of them. The full team that was there include Monrovia Matali, Joseph Famule, John Shemo, Jabez Reeves, Akin Sharif, Edward Morrison, Destiny Smith, Barnett Telmon Davis. We want to thank all of them for ably representing our country. We're proud of them, and we thank them as a government. We want to pay some tribute to a fallen colleague of your profession, journalist Cholo Brooks. I have known Cholo for years. He was a real representation of what ethical journalism represents. He was a professional by the dictates of the media profession. We have interacted based on our work period for a long time in the media space, and we know journalists one by one, by their names, by their everything. And if you try to categorize journalists for who they were, Cholo will always be on the end of journalists you'll be proud of. We learn of his sad passing. On behalf of the Ministry of Information, we want to say our deepest sympathy to the family of Joe, to the Press Union of Liberia, and to all of you who are journalists practicing in Liberia. We will stand with Joe's family in ensuring that he's given a burial that is befitting of a serious minded and professional journalist. And finally, Liberia has not had the history of having past leaders around, especially from the presidential level. We had the first when President Selig left office, and then the second when President Weah left office. We want to develop a culture of having respect for our former leaders, particularly former president, former vice president, all of that. At the same time, we expect that the leaders themselves, the past leaders, will conduct themselves in ways that will earn those respects. When you are a leader, you are supposed to be some kind of role model to be followed. You should make your voice to be a voice of solution. You cannot and must not jump down to the same normal style of politics that the career politicians will be involved with. Because if you don't separate the both, then it will be difficult to draw the line between you as a former president and you as a politician. I'm told his party celebrated something they call the acts of militancy, which is good, that's what he wants. But we heard him also try to question the change that was brought here. And in his normal sarcastic way of addressing leaders, he believes President Bouaka does not represent the change. President Bouaka does not know what is happening around him. He's sleeping. As a former president, maybe you were not sleeping. You were very awake. How come you didn't know all the things that were happening around you? I doubt whether you even understand this country, even though you led it for 6 years. I doubt whether you even knew what was happening around you, or whether you know what's happening now. We listen to you, see the lack of understanding of what it means to run a country. So no wonder why it's true that you were not sleeping according to you. The country sank to where it was. At no time in the history of this country that leaders of our country could just be sanctioned left and right by our most respectable partner in the United States. You were not sleeping, you were awake. This place became a dumping site for coach and other harmful substances. You were not sleeping. Corruption reached the Senate under your leadership. You were firmly awake and not sleeping. Auditors were being murdered in cold blood, and your government could not act. Eyes were wide open. Our civil servants who were already underpaid were reduced to beggars when you harmonized their salaries. You were not sleeping, but every government institution we inherited, including where I stay, the Ministry of Information, looks like a dump site. With your eyes wide open, which our country almost on the verge of being a failed state. Yes, Mr. Former President, you said this is not a change we wanted. But how could that be? When you came with your change, in 6 months, you built 47 condominiums. 6 months. Honor your change. President Bouaka is almost at 6 months, he's not built one. You say the president is appointing people based on nepotism. Your former chairman told us how you appointed people. Out of respect, I will not repeat those words. I guess the public is aware as to what the measures were for you to appoint people. Less than 1 year, your dilapidated 9th Street residence was transformed into a mansion. Why can't not build one kitchen? see, as a president, our orientation is different. We want to respect you. We want to respect all our former leaders. Don't push us. Mounting this podium all the time on behalf of the government, I've been very careful how I address issues. Because that is the way we change the country. Doing so is not an act of being lazy. When you want to be dirty, we can do it better than you. And keep our governance process civil. Sometimes if you don't understand the space that you're in, it's better to be quiet. Yes, Mr. President, I know you're trying to find your voice because it's not there. And you're so predictable. You will not engage in national discourse on serious issues. There will always be pettiness. You created a big problem here that we are committed to fix. We can judge you today because you have 6 years. The 6 year ended. So we can judge you by your output. The same 6 years they gave you, I think you gave to President Walker. He's been here for 5 months. And you want to judge 5 months to be equal to your 6 months? In 5 months, President Walker is bringing in 285 pieces of yellow machines that will make our roads possible. Clear fund land for our people. You're questioning the change. I wouldn't want to go too much because doing so will mean saying some things that will really hurt. And I want to keep it that way. Not to hurt our former president, but I just want to caution him as I am. Be mindful of the things he said as a former president. Because former presidents are not ordinary people, and they should not speak ordinarily. So President Walker is the change. He's living the change. He declared his assets in weeks. It took you years to declare yours. He has published his assets. You never ever published yours up to now. How can you compare the both? It's like attempting to compare light to darkness. That should be a very difficult thing. Having said that, thank you. Mr. Commissioner General, it is now my pleasure to invite you to address your people.
Mr. Minister of Information, Culture, and Tourism, thank you for inviting me to the podium at Child William Conference Hall. I bring you greetings from the Liberia Immigration Service, all of us in here and those in the land. I've been asked to talk to you on the allies since we took over from March up to now. March, April, May, June, 4 months, July. The Liberian Immigration Service is that statutory agency of government that is charged with the responsibility of providing security for our land, air, and sea. The Liberian Immigration Service is multi-task. In addition to providing security coverage of land, air, and sea, 143,000 square miles, our airspace in the Atlantic Ocean, 7 nautical distance, based on the capacity. We also a revenue generating entity. The last revenue year, we were taxed to raise $4 million. We raised a little more than that. Today, we are pleased to share a note with you on this. And before I proceed, I want to inform you on behalf of my principal deputy, Dixon Tamba, who is the Deputy Commissioner General for Naturalization. Agency Bishop and Brown Green. And then Dr. Somi is the training director of our training academy. Slebo is our director for the immigration support unit. When we took over the LIS, the first thing we sought to do was to conduct an audit, a system audit, to ensure where we are, where we're starting from. And that audit revealed that we have inadequate manpower. That audit revealed we have logistical challenge. That audit revealed we have poor infrastructure. The audit revealed that we have some 50 ghost names on our payroll who have been paid, we're not working, we're not visible. So growing out of that, and the audit was conducted by the IAE and the Liberia Regional Service. When the audit result came to us, we sat down drawing board as Commissioner Generals and Principal Deputies. We also come to realize that the UNDP had also, 2 years before we got in, conducted a test for immigration personnel working along with the LIMPA, the Institute for Public Accounting. They conducted a test, and the test result could not be made public. And we took over. We showed the results were placed, and those results inform the way, form, and manner in which we make assignment, transfer, and reassign and position men and women allies. Realizing that we have inadequate manpower, and let me take it back, the allies are one of those security architecture. Unlike the Liberia National Police, unlike the military, that want to reform. The allies didn't go through the necessary architectural reform. So, the allies developed a working plan, and we were sourcing funds, courtesy of our training department. The UNDP came to our aid and started to conduct in-service specialized in general recruit training. The last phase of which we held recently in Banga, at the Banga Regional Security Hub. We graduated 182 out of 185, 2 fell by the wayside. Do the math, that was a compacted 2 weeks, 24 hours, 20 hours a day training. So if you multiply 20 hours per 14 days, you talk about 280 plus hours. Divide that by the number 8 days, you talk about 35 days. Do the math. It was compacted, back to back. And we're interested to know that the training, we had the best mind providing the necessary training. Courtesy too of one of Mr. Minister of Information, one of your Deputy Minister, avail her services. Honorable Kadiatu D. Kenti. Thank you, Madam Minister. Mr. Minister, she availed her services to train on tourism. The engagement of LIS officer as we enhance tourism. All of this on top of tourism. How we're trying to bring a dark side to tourism. We're talking them to enhance it. Madam Minister took our time. She drove from here to Banga, the regional hub. Spent hours. Like how the Liberian, the armed forces in Liberia sent one Williams. We took hours to provide training to our guys. The TEA, the fire service, all of those within the security architecture and building services. We want to use this podium to thank the minister and all of those who went there to provide training. Like I said, was back-to-back combatant. Growing out of such training, we appreciated the United Nations Development Partner UNDP for the opportunity. Because Liberia is in the West African space, the was of some 400 million people, we invited the Sierra Leonean Commissioner General, what they call him Chief Immigration Officer, Honorable MP Alusi Karen, to serve as a keynote speaker. In such program, he spoke to us primarily on the Equal National Biometric Card, the Equal Brown Card. From that concept, the 400 million people in West Africa should enjoy free movement. And this Equal Biometric National Card should be used by all of us to visit any of the 15 countries in West Africa. His invitation was a milestone achievement. It brought into play that camaraderie, that sister relationship between two Monrovia, Makona River countries, Liberia and Sierra Leone. That training produced 183 officers. It is our hope that within this revenue year, we'll be able to, now that our RAA revealed to us inadequate manpower, we intend to train between 300 and 500 LIS officers to be able to deploy at our borders, both land, air, and sea. We call on national government, now that the UNDP have played our part, to be able to set aside the minimum amount so we are to train additional 300, 500 LIS officers to be able to meet our benchmark. When our counterpart exiting Liberia on bill, it's a benchmark for security institutions. The AFL, I speak to it because I checked Community Defense when I was senator, was said to have been projected to have a manpower strength of about 5 to 6 thousand men and women. The Liberia National Police between 8,000 plus men and women. Based on our population and the mathematics were done and the projection were made. Unfortunately though, we have not met the benchmark. The allies on our own, it's fucking hard to meet the benchmark. After recruiting, after training 183, 85, and 2 February, 183, we're hoping in the next time to do between 300 and 500. And actually, we hope to be conducted in 4 years, where we have our specialized LIS Academy. When the RAA conducted the assessment of LIS before going to motion, we came to realize that the LIS, like many other security institutions, or unlike other security institutions, our men were inadequately paid, which in our mind is a violation of the Decent Work Act. The Decent Work Act called for to commensurate our work with what to do. So on our own volition, we were able to procure a bus to be able to convey LIS officers from not necessarily their homes, but from a noticeable junction, so that when the bus is flying, it picks you up and takes you to LIS. That in our mind enhanced the spirit and rejuvenated the LIS. So we developed as our team LIS, spirited, rejuvenated, to enhance expert decor. And expert decor in law enforcement balance It's that way in which we conduct ourselves to be our brother keeper. The way I mind your back, the way you mind my back, that's very cool. Today we see the allies, the men are motivated, the men are rejuvenated, the men are spirited, the men are enhanced. Today you can see the allies officer. For those of you who were privileged to have attended our graduation, from head to toe, brand new. From head to toe, brand new. We did that out of innovation. We didn't just complain. We took the tax knowing where we were going to. Today I'll speak to you at the Rabat International Airport, our biggest gateway. On that freeport, the Rabat fee. You have what you call the Migration Information Data Analysis System, MADAS. That Migration Information Data Analysis System is what captures you when you visit this land space to determine who you are, where you come from, your age, and background check. We're in an environment where criminality is fluid. And to nip criminality, because it's fluid, you need all your gadgets. Around the Migration Information Data Analysis System is not at its best, it's obsolete. I was an instrument given to the eyes by the IOM, the International Organization of Migration. It is our humble appeal that government looked into that so that we deploy it, we get a new one since going almost 8 to 9 years now to be able to capture those who will come within our territory. The bad guys will look for the weaker link. So in criminal justice parlance, you have what we call target hauling. If you make your target soft like a piece of cake, anyone can eat it, eh? When you make your target hard, it becomes difficult for anyone to penetrate. The IAA assessment of LI showed insufficiency or no logistics. Uniform was a challenge. Accessory release to talk about mobility. Contemporary technical gadgets that security architecture in the work with. We were challenged. Salary low, morale low. But over the past 4 months, I can speak today that LI is spirited. Thanks to not just I alone as a person, but to me and my principal deputies who working together, we made the allies where it is today. We've also been asked to talk to you on what's taking place. As a result of the UNDP sponsored test that we conducted 2 years ago, that which we published, all of those assignments being made on the allies is been informed by those who passed the test, the ranking, the transfer. The only challenge lying there is that by now, the allies' ranking system should have been customized and harmonized and to commensurate with payment. So those who have worked over the years, who have the academic background, they know how the ranking system and payment commensurate with the ranking system. Attempts have been made by all to ensure that happens. How far the RI is as we speak. During our graduation ceremony, the Senator of Bon County and Chairman of Bon County Legislative Caucus, Senator Prince Kamohoi, represented the Senate. Interestingly, he said, when the Liberian Senate were doing a recast of the budget, they discovered $42 million. And they set aside $2 million for the armed forces of Liberia. Commendable. They set aside $1.8 million for the DEA. Commendable. They set aside $1.4 for the Minister of Justice. Commendable. Because you know, as Commissioner General of LIS, I'm the Deputy Attorney General of Liberia. So the Minister of Justice is my boss. So if you get $1.4 million, commendable. The Liberia National Police Training Academy, some $2 million set aside for the National Police Training Academy. Commendable. Then when it came to the LIS, get what the senator said? Look, it was public. He said, look, for LIS, we're looking at you with eagle eye because there is this contact global. So we know what comes from contact global. And I say this to you, in about 4 months, we close to raising $2 million. LIS, in about 4 months. Senator Bessenger finally called us for revenue hearing sometime last week. On my left-hand side was double job. And double job confirmed it, that LIS performing. And they gave our performing, enhance our capacity and our ability to deliver more. So we call on government. The LIS multitask. These are people unlike several institutions. I'm trying to tell who does what LIS does. For example, 60% of our work security related. When the bad guys go to the port, when they go to our porous border, 100 something plus, we only made 40. The other roads, the people will go. People will go because we there, we actually know what happened. So don't you think we need some drone to enhance our capacity to know what is, look at images that are infiltrating our terrain and try to cause havoc? Yes, we need it. Can I sit down to my office, my point, and know what's happening between Logato and Ganta? Solomba, Yedemolamu? I cannot. But to know it is if we have some sophistication, common drone to be able to tell what is happening there. What the criminals have done these days now is to shut out the sea, the Atlantic Ocean. They got a better boat. They got a better ship. So they infiltrated. And they are one step ahead of us. Why are they one step ahead of us? Because they got a mindset, the atmosphere, the men's. Because they got a mindset and they got the instrument to work with, they one step ahead of us. To be able to nip them and curb this is to build our capacity. The LI is asking for enhancement. The Japanese government gave us a few boats, yes. And we had to give the boat to the military to hold on to it for us because of capacity challenge. Thankfully, the military is maintaining the boats. One of them two is deployed to Grand Cape Company. One of them to Grand Bassa, the other two. We asked them that come this August 24th or July 26th or August 24th, we're going to display them. And they have told us, yes, we got a good relationship. So, at the airlines, yes, our strength is about 2,300 plus. With the graduate about 180 plus, we're close to about 2,500. Are we there yet? No. Are we getting there? Yes, we're getting there. We all beat. Mr. President has said that where we are currently as an institution, how the Minister of Information and Culture Affairs in reference to the way he's about to transform this building. And Mr. Minister, thank you. Mr. President, also knowing that we raise revenue, we provide security coverage 60%, 40% revenue, have instructed the General Services Agency to work on the modality to have us go to the capital bypass, the old Ministry of Health building. We're hoping that the General Services Agency will expedite it so that we work in an environment that will enhance our ability to deliver more. You charge all to give you 4 million, give a little over 4 million. That time we were manually doing our work. Visa upon manual, resident permit manual. So when we digitize you now, you expect to do far more, and we prepare to do far more. But please, those who are occupying the old Ministry of Health, can they give chance to the Liberia Immigration Service to come there so that those who we are contracting to work with us, like the Contact Global, the Celtics, We are working for different buildings, it makes it difficult. The NIS building up my bump on the ONSC building. Contact Global had the offices where 9th Street. How do you correlate? How do you connect the synergies? We're just too far apart. Help us to create an enabling environment so that we'll be able to deliver on the revenue expectation. Because as an institution, yes, we are upbeat, we are spirited, we are rejuvenated, and prepared to mend our land, water, and sea. Thank you so much. We will sit back and perhaps, I'm not yet alone, I'm here with my principal deputies. Those issues that you may want to question us about, if I can provide an answer, I'm here with my deputies, we can join in. Happy to provide necessary clarity. Mr. Minister of Information, your principal deputy, thank you so very much for the platform. Thank you.
The question is from the queue.
So you already do the routine. Take 4 questions at a time.
Please introduce yourself and the institution you report from.
Thank you so much. My name is Maurice Olati and I report for OPFM. Thank you so much, Mr. Minister. I got a few concerns. Please allow me to ask you. One of them is this morning, Minister Sando called on the radio on OKFM and said that the government is not owing civil servants. But after he left the line, one other guy called, I don't know his name, he said that he's a civil servant. So can you clarify whether the government is owing civil servant or not? Number two.
But then you know you're getting rude. Why you are the one asking one question?
All right, no problem.
Why you're afraid in line?
All right, no problem. Let me go to the Commissioner General. No problem. No problem. Thank you, Anthony Zago. Thank you so much for your deliberation. You named all of the areas that illegal entrance points across Liberia. What plans or what are measures are you putting into place maybe to reduce some of those places? Thank you.
I'm Francis K.D. Kopo. I do report for the Liberia TV Network. My question goes to Honorable Pia. For over the past 6 months since the ascendancy of President Boakai, we have observed numerous of protests, even inclusion of talking about properties in life, and also another one that just happened in Market. What level of strategy the government is actually putting in place in ensuring that some of these activities that are occurring will not happen to an extent like what is currently happening in Kenya? To the commissioner, I listened to you and you said that your institution is making sure in order for the for workers, employees' salary to actually be uplifted because they were underpaid. Can you do us a due diligence, because we are reporters, we need to clarify that information. What level, when it comes to the grading of salary, did you actually meet the skill, and at what level are you taking said salary grading to in regards to qualification and competencies? Thank you.
So my name is James Mbala, and I report for Radio Africa in Magini County. By virtue of the fight, we are really right now in Magini County on Radio Africa. The question goes to the other boss. Chief, both of our people in Liberia commit to our focal points from Guinea and laissez-passer. How long the durations of the laissez-passer last in the country? And how do we go about if laissez-passer expire? How do we twist the people in Liberia? Because of course, we all enter our country, so now you see them after 1 or 2 weeks, they get small attachment in the community, they eat a keke, they unload by. So how do we tell these people when laissez-passer stay with them in this country? And finally, how is the working relationship with you and that DA? Because recent time, the DA was here, he said bulk of the drugs entering Liberia come by the way of Guinea, Sawadis, and all of the world country. How are you working in relationship with adding drugs and the agents in this country? Thank you. Well, good afternoon. My name is Kura Thompson, and I report for the Trude Independent New newspaper. Well, I can see that Minister Pierre is well charged this morning to respond. So I just like to seize this opportunity to ask, when is the government anticipating on releasing the financial detail to the bosses that are obtained from Ghana? And next to that, to the Commissioner General, you talk much about improvement under your administration, but you did not give updates about the status of our borders. Like my colleague just said, quite recently, DEA called a border with Sierra Leone as a drug hotspot. So I'm kind of concerned. Do you mind giving us brief updates about some of the things that are happening at our borders point? Are we secure? Thank you very much.
Is there any other person with the exception of the reporter in the queue? So we'll just take the last person and move on with response.
I think the last one.
Okay, please come.
Good afternoon, I am J.H. Webster Blake, and I report for Front Page African newspaper. Mr. Minister, Information Minister, I mean, many people would love to see after the repatriation of several Liberians from Ghana, several refugees from Ghana, many people would love to see the president seeing for himself to the right camp. I mean, what were some of the advice that prompted the president not to, from the Ghanaian government, what was some advice from the Ghanaian government that caused the president not to see for himself to the right camp? And so the higher boss, I mean, you spoke highly about reform, about enhancing capacity in terms of dollar and cents. What do you need to enhance the capacity of the AIS?
We'll take the last question.
Good afternoon, my name is Christopher Desmond, and I report for Voice of Liberia. Mr. Commissioner, I want to know in regards to the training of the 300 to 500 security personnel you talked about. How will you ensure that the trained personnel are committed to serving the rural areas, which often face challenges in terms of access to basic service and infrastructure? Secondly, I want to know, are there any plan to establish a system for monitoring and evaluation of the trained personnel's performance after they have completed their duties? Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is. Thank you for enhancing my height as we call on the government to enhance the LIS. My name is Attorney at Law Numatosa Dixon Raymond Tamla, Deputy Commissioner General for Naturalization, Liberia Immigration Service. I will take 3 of the questions while my chief will deal with others, and perhaps our colleagues working with us, some of our officers will deal with some others. The first is the illegal entries, and the question is, what is the LIS doing? This is an issue of national concern. If you look at the landscape of Liberia, most of our borders are from the land. You consider Maryland, River G,